That was interesting. I didn't know how that would work. Well, anyway, my name is Renee Thomas with DIY Mental Boost, and welcome. Welcome. So, we are about learning how to navigate through life in an easier way. And neuroplasticity is what allows us to do that. That is actually a feature that is in our brain. It was designed that way. And because we were not taught it in school, we don't know about the feature and we haven't learned how to use it. So we learned math, writing, arithmetic. So everybody knows how to do math, writing, and arithmetic. But this was not learned in school. And so therefore, it's something that we can learn on our own if we so choose to. And this is actually what's going to help us to navigate through life in a leveling up way. See, most of the time we've been taught to cope and manage. We cope and we manage. And that's what I learned. Then I found out there was prevention and resolution. And that's what this channel is all about. See, coping and managing basically means that there's something going on, we can't do anything about it, and we just have to live with it, as in figure out how to cope around it, or manage it so that it's not so bad. This is about prevention and resolution. So we're looking for a way to be able to prevent anxiety, prevent illness. We're looking to resolve an illness. We're looking to resolve emotional distress. And that is what was not taught to us in school. So, in a pleasant, fast, and lasting way, we can learn about a feature in our brain and know what to do. Now, today we're going to be linking together vibration and neuroplasticity. Like, what does it have to do with each other? Okay? Is there something about them that are linked together? So, the first thing is, again, as a reminder, what is neuroplasticity? Neuroplasticity is the mechanics that allow your brain to adapt when you gain knowledge or skills or encounter something new. Okay? That is what the brain is supposed to do. I was taught that when something traumatic happens, that the brain is just going to have a little bit of a problem and it's something that could possibly end up affecting you the rest of your life. That is not how the brain was designed. The brain was actually designed to adapt. That's what you can do with neuroplasticity. But also with neuroplasticity, you can create emotional distress. It all depends on how you use it. So if you don't know about it and you're just going along with what you see other people doing or what you hear, I call that heterosuggestion. Autosuggestion is the things that we tell ourselves. Heterosuggestion are the things that other people tell us that we believe and that impact our lives, either for the good or for the not so good. And so we actually have the ability to make sure whatever we take in is going to be for the good. Does that sound good? I think that sounds good. And if there's anything that is going to be unhelpful, we can immediately release it so that it's not with us forever and ever. And see, that's what happens. That's what happens. A parent says something to a child, and it could be harmless. Like the parent thinks it's harmless, okay? But the child's brain is taking it in a different way. And when this is done, the child responds in a way that starts to affect him in how he is looking at things. Okay? And so what happens is that child then gets that impression in their mind and they actually start making choices and decisions and what they do based off of that interaction with their parent. Okay? So now, I just hit that real quick because I got something in the screen. Sorry about that. So we do neuroplasticity, emotional intelligence, and subconscious rewiring. Okay, neuroplasticity is the brain, what it can do. And that's what I love telling people what it can do. Because for the first 48 years of my life, I did not know what my brain could do for me and how I navigate. Okay, so I went from using a map, paper map, to having a GPS up here. It's like a GPS up there. And I want people to know that it can help you do so many things. So now, neuroplasticity, that's that. Emotional intelligence is understanding our behaviors, our emotions, and being able to figure out what's helping us and what's not. Because sometimes we're doing something and we may not even recognize it's not helping us very much. It's not helping us very much. We keep wondering why we're hitting our heads against the wall, and it actually has to do with our mental thought patterns. Those mental thought patterns are what is causing us to have maybe certain things that we don't want in our life because we keep repeating them. Okay. And so what we do is we learn how to navigate around that. Okay. And so that the brain, instead of getting caught in those mental thought patterns, and because we don't know subconscious rewiring, that's not taught, because we don't know how to do it, we have the long process of either the brain finally letting it go or just a long process. And we don't know it can be a very short process. And so I love sharing this because most think of emotional wellness as a journey that's really long and difficult. It's up and down, it's here, there, where, everywhere. When it actually can be very pleasant. Very pleasant. That you'll be excited to work with your brain. Because we teach you, or we share with you, how in about 30 minutes a week, you can start getting some incredible changes or enhancements that you want. It's not about the enhancements that we think or I think that you should do or need. It's about you. When you're figuring out you want to change something, that you have a tool that you can do it with very fast and easy. And so that alleviates a lot of stress, because instead of thinking, oh, this is going to be a long process, this is going to be hard, this is difficult, anytime I ever try to change something, well, that's why we tolerate and ignore. We will tolerate and ignore until the thought of actually doing with something is something we never want to do. Okay? So, neuroplasticity, we meld it with emotional intelligence, and we meld it with subconscious rewiring. So all three come together at work. So like when I was doing this, I kind of had all three like not melded together. So I had to piece it all together. And I was like, if this was all melded together, this would be really easy to understand. So everything I do is very, 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 very basic. It's what I learned and what I taught myself. Once I realized what was possible, then I was like gung-ho. I was like, what is this? Why does it work so well? Why? And so this channel, that's to help you to get started. It's very simple. There is no charge. DIYmentalboost.com is where you start. There is a tab. It says how to start. And it's basically understanding a little bit of the brain if you want. There's courses for that. But it's just the tools that you need to start the rewire. You don't even actually have to understand neuroplasticity or emotional intelligence, because when you do the sessions, it alleviates all the things that are what people call blocks. You know, people say that you're blocking yourself or your brain is trying to. No, your brain is not trying to hurt you. Your brain actually knows how to sustain you, to hurt you with the right programs. And so it's very important for us to know that and then be able to use it. Otherwise, you think there's nothing out there. It's hopeless. It's kind of helpless. Or you may be cruising along and then all of a sudden, which is what happened to me. I was cruising along. I was used to, I could get through anything and navigate through anything. It might take me a long time, but I would get through it until I didn't. And I didn't know what was going on. And then they couldn't explain to me why. My brain was doing a freakazoid. And so I spent 12 years with coping and managing skills, which I did extremely well with, I believe. Yes, I did. But yet I still had to keep coping and managing. Still had to keep coping and managing. Till I found prevention and resolution, and then all that coping and managing went away, and now my brain just does what I programmed it to do. And so I want people to know your brain will do what you tell it to do. That is what it will do. But what we've learned to do is we learn to tell the brain what we don't want it to do. And then we wonder why it's not doing what we want it to do. So we'll start out and we'll talk about things like, I don't want to be sick. I don't want to be scared anymore. Okay. Unfortunately, That is a lower vibe way of telling the brain what it wants. We're using such intensity with the lack that we have. It thinks that you want the lack. And so when you're dealing with the conscious and the subconscious mind, you have to understand that there's a difference. You have to speak to the subconscious different than the conscious mind. They're two different languages. Okay? So it's really important to know that in order to be able to navigate. If you don't know that, it's like you're talking to someone in another language and you don't know that they don't understand you. You ever had that? You're talking to someone and they're saying, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you find out that they are not understanding you at all. And so it's really, really important once you know about your brain, a lot of clarity starts to come your way. And neuroplasticity is designed to keep clarity in your mind if you want it. Get rid of that mental fog. Get rid of that lack of energy. Get rid of that constant whatever illness that keeps popping up, okay, or that's chronic. Your brain was designed to be your tool to use, but depending on how we choose to use it is how useful it is for us, for what we want. And as you can see in the world, we have a lot of emotional turmoil going on, a lot of illness, which tells you there are a lot of people that are not understanding. They're talking to their body and their mind, not in the way that it can be helpful to you, because you talk in a way that it can be helpful to you. Okay, it doesn't know, hey, I want you to stop this. It doesn't know, it's not getting that message. And so now once you know how to talk to the body in that message, oh yeah, that's what you get. That's what you get. So neuroplasticity, emotional intelligence, and subconscious rewiring. We're talking about vibration. Vibration. Okay, so I think I'm going to have to look at something on my screen because I'm not seeing the other paper that I need. And so I'm going to pop it up on the screen so I can use it. So vibration and energy are really closely related. Okay. Vibration can be desirable. It can be natural or forced. Okay. A forced vibration looks like maybe a washing machine that's off because of another thing. It's vibrating. Okay. Or an uneven road. Okay. So we have those. Energy is in everything. Energy is in everything. Okay. It can be in anything that you can think of. So I don't think that I did what I was supposed to because I get distracted with the sideways film that came up for me. So let me go back. If you didn't see that part, it's because I cut it out. I need to just add this here real quick. So bear with me. Now, things that we are familiar with when it comes to vibration, you'll hear about it, right? You'll hear about it, but you won't really understand what it is or how it works. You'll hear, raise your vibration, do this, do that. They do a lot of external things for vibration. But if you learn about neuroplasticity, you'll learn that you can just do internal things. It doesn't, the external things, it's okay. It's okay to use those and to do those. Okay. But the thing is that it's a good idea for you to be able to do it in the inner. Because what if you become incapable of doing something that you decided that you wanted to do? You want to be able to have it that you can get it internally, whether you could do the external or not. Okay. So keep that in mind. Okay. Keep that in mind that that's what you can do. And so when you're working on yourself or when you're learning all of this information, you'll be able to have more than just one way of doing something. So that if it's kind of like, I always call it, it's kind of like a backup. That's how I see it. It's kind of like a backup. Like, it's like, oh, well, okay, I can't do it this way. Let me just do it this way. And we still get the job done. Okay. So I'm going to just do my little post that I didn't do. So I need to focus for just a second. Thank you so much. Okay. I think we did a good job. Okay. Okay. And so when we're dealing with vibration, low vibe, high vibe, what do you know about it? What have you heard about it? Anyone hear anything about it? So what you can do and what you can understand is that when it comes to, let's see if I'm going to go up a little higher on this, if that makes a difference. My head's not all the way chopped off. Yeah. Okay, I like that. Okay, so what we can understand is that when it comes to high vibe and low vibe, you can put something in the chat or you can leave me a comment and tell me what you know about that. How has it worked for you? You hear about being a high vibe, being a low vibe. Well, it's really quite simple. It's just about understanding where you're at, how you're feeling about things. Now, it doesn't mean if you're a low vibe here that you're in a low vibe in all your life, areas of your life. It could just be maybe something's going on with your illness that's kind of bringing you down, or maybe it's something at your job, okay? And so what you can do is learn how to elevate that, to regulate that. So high vibes, they have what's called a vibrational chart that you can use. If you're a spiritual person that likes faith-based things, Galatians 5:22-23 is basically the same vibrational chart. But it's basically helping you to see. I wonder if you can see this if I put this up like this. It might be backwards. I don't know. I don't know if that's even helpful at all. But I'll go down the list. So you have enlightenment. It's the highest one. That's just harmony. Okay? That's just harmony flowing through you. Then you have peace, love, joy, love, reason, acceptance, willingness, neutrality. Those are all in the higher vibe. Okay? They create expansiveness feelings, creative and feelings, inspired feelings. Okay? And then you have pride, anger, desire, fear, grief, apathy, guilt, shame. Now, if you were here last week, you know that lower vibe emotions have a purpose. They have a purpose. So we are not fearing lower vibe emotions, and nor do we put them down. They have a purpose. They are indicators for us to be aware and then be able to make a change. If you know how, that's great. You won't fear an indicator. But if you see the indicator and you don't know what to do, then that's where it gets stressful. So that's what we share here. That's the subconscious wiring. We use the 3-step thought process that is also on DIYmentalboost.com. That is also at no cost. And if you want to know how to get started with that, you just go and DIYmentalboost.com and how to start is right there. It's step-by-step guidance. I say it 3 times because when we think about starting things or something we don't know, the brain is too busy telling us we don't know that it's not hearing. You just go to DIYmentalboost.com, how to start, and it'll help you to do that. Okay? So these emotions, these vibrations, they're obviously not seeable, but they do affect things. So for instance, someone will say, oh, I would never tell them that, but they're thinking it here. They don't realize the vibration is actually still going out. You have to understand. That's why if you ever heard that women who are living in the same house, they all of a sudden their menstrual cycles start to sync up. Okay? That's why you walk into a room and you're like, you can feel tension, you can feel things, and you're like, oh, what is this? Vibration. And so we're always putting out a vibration, and actually everything out there is putting a vibration. You're putting out a vibration to me. I'm putting one out to you right now. It should be a high vibration, but that's what's going on all the time. Okay. And so our high vibrations make a difference. Our low vibrations make a difference, and we have a choice as to which ones we are going to use in life. See, I thought that I didn't have much choice about how I felt about things. If something unwanted happened, then I had to have a lower vibe emotion to go with it. And those two marry together, and that's what I did all the time. Okay. And then you manage and cope and you figure out how to raise yourself up after a long, lengthy process, if you can figure it out. I didn't know that's not necessary. It's not necessary. The brain actually, what does it do? It adapts, it learns, it modifies. So when something comes up, especially if it's something you've gone through before, it can actually help you to navigate it very easily. Unless you tell it that it has to have that other reaction all the time. You can also prevent it. So we do resolution and prevention. How do you prevent the brain from freaking out from something that's happened? Okay. The best way to prevent it is not to tell what's going on is traumatic, because we may have a program that says traumatic means that, oh boy, this is going to be bad and rough. Okay. So we have to remember the brain, neuroplasticity, the brain was designed to work off of two things. If you've been with me before, you might remember the two things. What are they? And I'm going to tell you what they are. So the two things are what? Repetition and intensity. Okay? So the repetition of your thoughts, the repetitions of what you do, the repetitions of what you feel, your sensations, and the intensity together. So we don't have to run around thinking if we said a thought that, oh my goodness, it's going to cause chaos in my life. No, the intensity. Sometimes we can have an event that's in our life that can cause an intensity. So the intensity is really intense. If you have an aha moment, that's like all of a sudden, wow, I'm having a wow. Oh, okay, that was from intensity. And all of a sudden your brain is starting to think differently. Well, it happens when the brain decides that there's something traumatic that happened that it can't understand. It can't wrap around its brain. And as soon as it does that, then you either have the ability within yourself to guide it, or you've already put a program in that your brain won't say that it doesn't know what's going on. That's what I put in my brain. I put in the program that it handles everything and anything. That's just the program I wanted. That's the one that I put in. And you do that using the 3-step thought process. So basically what you do is you take whatever it is that your usual response is and you rewire it. And those videos do that for you. You just watch the videos and do what they say. And at the end of the video, you'll start to have immediate transformation. DIYmentalboost.com. That's where all that is for you to take and to use at no cost. And it's my gift to you. It's my gift actually to the world. Because when I had that situation happen to me, and I was not getting any answers, and I was doing everything I was told to do, from counseling to medicines to everything, CBT, EMDR, I was getting massages, acupuncture, I was doing all kinds of stuff. And when I was talking, it was so vague as to what was going to help me. Anyway, so I found about this. And I've been sailing along all along. So the brain, what you input is what it will output. So from 0 to 7, a lot of stuff was put in very quickly, because that's the time of our life where we can absorb like a sponge. Absorb, 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 absorb. And that's a good thing, right? We have so much to learn in that time frame. So it's good. It's like that's good. Isn't that wonderful? It was made that way. Then at a certain age, it starts to assimilate all the things, start making its own patterns with it, and that's all good. But you know what was left out of our education? Neuroplasticity, to know how to put in things we want and take out things that were unhelpful. We've had a childhood that was rough, created a lot of patterns for us, the way we're reacting, our behaviors. We should have been given information that helps us to navigate that, like a GPS. Keep a healthy pattern, healthy thoughts, but it wasn't. And that's just the way it was. It wasn't. Okay? But what can we do? We can do our own rewire of things. Okay, we can do our own implanting of things, putting in the good, taking out what wasn't helpful. We are the captains of, I think I mentioned this last time, of our cruise ship. We can be the coordinators of how we feel, what we think, and what we do. We can do that. Okay, we have the power to do that. And once we know it, then we can use it. You don't have to use it. You have to use it in everything. I use it in everything, but you don't have to. You can pick and choose. Okay, so we have these vibrations. The certain ones, they tell us to keep going. They motivate us. The brain automatically just motivates you. But those lower ones, from pride down to shame, that is an indicator that tells us something's going on in life and we need to address it. Are we going to ignore it? Are we going to tolerate it? Are we just going to complain about it? Are we just going to vent about it? Do we even know how to help our brain to navigate through a situation that has happened to us? You can with neuroplasticity, you can with emotional intelligence, and then the tool is subconscious rewiring. Now, subconscious rewiring, there are different ways to do it. I use the 3-step thought process. That's what I learned because it's super fast. There are others out there. Okay, they have different ways of going with them. And then if you choose them, you'll have to just see how they work for you. I like the pleasant, fast, and lasting way. And that's what I say about the 3-step thought process. Pleasant, fast, and lasting. You get immediate changes. Doesn't take long. It's not a big journey. It's not unpleasant to the mind. The brain just starts to really enjoy it. And that's what it should have been from the beginning. Just like we enjoy reading, right? Some people enjoy writing, okay? Math. Well, some people just love math, okay? So those are things that we can enjoy because we learned how to use those. Same thing. Learn about neuroplasticity. Learn how to rewire. Learn about emotional intelligence. Those are those things that will happen for you. Okay, so let me look at my thing again, because like I said, I did not. I'm having such an interesting time. Maybe if I don't click on it, it'll behave a little bit more for me. Let me see if I close this out and I close this out. We'll get to my, here it is. Okay, so neurons that fire together, wire together, that's basically neuroplasticity. If you want to technical terms of it, not technical, but more depth of it, then you can put in the comments that you more depth of it and not just neurons that fire together, wire together. So basically you have a situation and you have an emotion, you attach it, and it wires together. And then that becomes your normal, natural reaction. You can link to unlink that if it's not something you want linked together. So that's what I do when I work with my massage clients. They actually are linking something that happened in their life to an emotion. And let's say it was in a car accident and they're having pain. And then the pain is still saying, even the doctor said there's everything should be okay. It's because the emotion is behind that pain that won't go away. And so we learn to unlink that. I help them to unlink that. Okay. And so that is neuroplasticity. That is subconscious rewiring and emotional intelligence. Okay. So now, how your thoughts influence your behavior. Okay, so one of the things I learned when I was doing all my coping and managing stuff is they had me do CBT. And CBT is really good because it really does help you to understand emotional intelligence. It really helps you to identify your thought patterns. What it doesn't do is quickly help you to change them. They actually it's a repetition and you have to use your conscious mind to catch everything. And it was exhausting. I felt when I first started, I was like, oh my, this is just really hard work. But I did it because I wanted to be better. Okay, I wanted to feel better. But this 3-step thought process is simple. It takes 30 minutes a week. It's really simple. So CBT has done a really good job of helping people to realize that your thought and feelings and actions. And basically they say a thought crosses your mind, right? And the thought causes you to feel a certain way, right? And then the feeling causes you to act a certain way. Okay, so here's the example. Maybe I am getting sick. I feel worried I might be getting sick. I start researching all kinds of symptoms on Google and etc. That actually, on a plasticity level, helps you to see how the brain now sees what you're interested in, and it's going to help you to develop those little things that you're worried about. It goes with intensity, what you're putting effort into. Now you're doing this because you're saying, I don't want to be sick, because that's what we're taught. I don't want to be sick. I got to do all this stuff. It's the least productive way to help you to stay in the state that you want to be of healthiness, or to get out of poverty, or to be in a better relationship. All those I don't want tos, I don't want tos. With the subconscious mind, it doesn't know negation, negative. It doesn't know right or wrong. It just knows the intensity and the repetition. And the I don't want sounds like I want. And then when you get sicker or sickness happen, you're like, see, I told you. And it's like, but that's where your focus was. I thought that's what we were doing. And we don't understand that's what's going on because they didn't teach us about neuroplasticity. That's all. And once you understand it, then you're like, oh, okay. I got it. I got it. So far, are you understanding what I'm mentioning with regards to our thoughts, neuroplasticity? Our thoughts triggers things, triggers our brain to do things. It triggers literally chemical reactions, neurons, all this stuff is going on. And we think that our thoughts are just something that we can think, and we don't realize that that's actually causing us the way we feel and what we act. And the more you act in the way of a higher vibe that you want, that is what affects the reality of our life. The person who's going down, oh, I'm afraid I might get sick. I think I'm getting sick. I don't want to get sick. Let me look all in. Oh, sick, this person. Oh, look what happened to this person, this person, this person, this person. And then you get sick. And all of a sudden you become a person who's a sick person because you're identifying so much with sickness. Is there anything wrong with Googling and looking up symptoms? No. But the intensity and the repetition of how and why we're doing it, is it just a matter of awareness, or is it causing us more fear? Causing us more fear. And that fear, literally, the brain has to take care of that. And it's not taken care of, maybe something that's going on in the body that needs to be taken care of so that the body can heal it, because it has its own inner physician. That's another story. I love it though. That own inner physician. You have an inner physician right inside you, and it can actually do good things for you. Okay? So neuroplasticity is something that we can use in every aspect of our life. Any aspect, it can boost it. So it's like, you have those gains and you eat something and it gives you this extra for a certain amount of time. Well, that's what the body and the brain can do for us. Okay? The mind and the body work together. And so once you realize that your thought and your feelings and your actions, they actually are really important, you will consider how much energy you want to put into feeling a lower vibe. You'll say, if what I plant is what grows, and I am planting a lot of fear, a lot of guilt, and that's what's going to grow, do I want that? And once you realize and decide which ones you want and don't want, you have the tool to change it. Remember, it's at DIYmentalboost.com, and it's all at no cost. It's free. And you click on the how to start. And you'll start navigating. One of the easiest ways to start is to do affirmations. Now, this is not affirmations that you think. This is affirmations that are done while you're sleeping. So you actually listen to affirmations while you're sleeping, and you already tell your brain in advance what you want it to work on for you while you're sleeping. That is a great way to use affirmations. I use affirmations to create, not to get rid of fears and things. I didn't use that. I use a 3-step thought process. But when it comes to creating my reality, more of good things that I want, before I didn't know how to create good things for me, other than working really, really, really hard trying to create good things for me. But then I found out that you can actually do a lot more mental stuff, and then they just naturally start to happen. Because if you think about it, where do smartphones come from? Cars come from? Came from a thought. Someone had a thought. Wouldn't it be nice if? And here we are today with amazing things. 200 years ago, they would have said that we're crazy. Going to the moon. Okay, yeah, right. But we know about gravity. We know how to make things. That all came from thoughts. And we don't realize that we actually have that power to do thoughts that affect us immediately or thoughts that affect us tomorrow. Yeah, neuroplasticity. It's awesome. It really helps us to navigate life like a GPS. We have a map that we've been using, little hard copy map. But the GPS, how much nicer does the GPS make it for navigating just in general, especially in places you don't know? Where have you been before? And that is what your brain can do for you. It can make and clear a lot of things for you. You don't have to do all the work. We do a lot of work because we're taught a conscious effort is work, do. But I do mental doing first before I do inspired action, because that's what the mental does. It does inspired action. That's more productive, more efficient. That comes from that. Those things come from higher vibes. Higher vibes. The lower vibes, they make you more prudent, tell you to slow down, which is fine in life, right? Okay, there's things in life. I was crossing the road the other day at night, coming up around the corner. I have to go across. You can't really see what's coming down, so I'm kind of being more prudent. But I'm not terrified and stuck there. Someone has to come and get me to help me to drive and turn the corner. No, I have neuroplasticity, which is supposed to design to help me to know how to be prudent and to keep going forward. If you use lower vibes to stop you, then that's why you're stopped. And the brain is just doing what you've told it to do. If you're just using lower vibes to be a little prudent, just to be a little cautious and then keep navigating forward, excellent. Excellent. A great way of navigating life. A great way. Okay? So, when it comes to neuroplasticity, it's going to help us to just smooth out life. Half the things that one worries about is not even necessary. And then the rest, most of it is something that you can actually just go around easy. But because of using lower vibe emotions to the extent of them being emotional distress, they just stop a person. They start something and it stops and they get scared. No, they start doubting themselves. They get resentment. They get fear. So they're on a highway and they keep exiting. Let's exit here at fear. Let's exit here at doubt. You don't know that's what you're saying, but that's basically what the brain has been trained to do. Interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. So we don't need to be afraid of our brains. Our brain, our conscious mind, our subconscious mind, when they're in sync, man, super powerful. So people do that through, raising their vibe or manifesting or law of attraction and all that stuff. If you do the 3-step thought process, that pretty much raises all those things to basically come to the surface for you. And you can just naturally start to do those things once you realize that the brain has the power to help you navigate life. Just like a smartphone. Once you figure out all these little features, hey, I can pay a bill. Oh, hey, I can buy an airline ticket. Hey, I could do a voice. There's so many things that we can do with the phone, and then some people just use it to talk on because they're afraid. And so that's what happens when we have an indicator, and instead of just addressing it and moving on, we stop. We're stuck, right? All of a sudden, money is a problem. Stops us from succeeding, from doing other things, from adventuring. All of a sudden, we have these fears, and money becomes really, it's stressful. Okay, work stressful, right? Something goes wrong with the car. Oh no, it's stressful because money's stressful. Then we got to get to work, and if I don't have my job, then I'm gonna lose my house. I don't have my life. I'm gonna be. That's what emotional distress does. It doesn't help you to resolve. Doesn't help you to resolve. We want to be resolvers, and that's what our brain can do. So in aspects in life, you're probably already doing all that stuff, some things. But the things that it's not happening for you, you have a tool to use. Okay? Everything that you have in life right now, you've gotten from your programs that are of high vibe. They've gotten you as far as you have now. Wonderful. Now, if there's some things you're saying I want that I haven't gotten, well, then just create some really good high vibe programs that help you to get it. And look around and see what is it I'm really saying to myself. Does my brain actually understand what it is that I want it to do? Or is it getting mixed messages? Is it running off conflicting programs? And so you're back and forth. And you're back and forth. And you're back and forth. Is this making sense? I hope that it is. So I'm going to go to something that I'm on. Give me a little message. And you can ask any questions if you have any questions, and I can answer them. If you have anything in the comments, I can answer them. Because this is live now, but it also will be put up as replay, so people can always get it. So vibration. It is a nice way of being able to make changes. But it doesn't have to be as complicated as people think. People think of it's hooey-wooey. It's not. It's just understanding everything is energy. And just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Like gravity, the wind. We can't see the wind, but no one sits there and says, oh, the wind doesn't exist. The sun rays, okay, you can feel them. The wind, you can see the leaves moving. You will see in your life vibrations, what they create if you so choose. And so when you're navigating in life, when you're putting out that higher vibe, okay, you're matching what's out and around you, and it's going to match you. It's coming to you. So all you have to do is create as many higher vibe reactions you can in life. Don't have to worry about if you create a low vibe or you have a low vibe reaction or you have an unwanted reaction. The brain works with what's most dominant. What's your most dominant feeling about life, what you're doing, how you're going? Okay, that's always going to help to propel you. But the propulsion, is that the word? What propels you? Are you going at the rate of speed that you want? Or is it kind of more up? That's kind of how I was before. I was going forward, but at a very slower rate than I do now. Now, it's whatever speed I want it to be. If I want it to slow down, I'll just slow down. If I want it to speed up, it'll speed up. I'm in control of that. So we can be in charge of all that. I love it. I hope that you're loving it too. And I will see you next Wednesday back here at the same time to see what your brain can do for you. Your brain loves you. Just remember that. I don't know if I want to say it loves you, but it is your tool. It is your tool. And you'll understand the benefit of using your tool. That's what you're going to get. Go to DIY Mental Boost. Oops. Having a hard time. DIY Well, that's not typing very well. So we will not type anymore on that. It's messing up my words. DIYmentalboost.com. This is Renee Thomas. And I will see you next week. Hugs.